Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the '08 to '11 Ford Escape. Minor issues and problems, things that go wrong with it from time to time. Uh, all around, it's a great vehicle. From the '08 up to '11, it's a nice vehicle to have, and you can purchase them now in the all-wheel drive edition for fairly cheap. I'm saying ranging from $1,000 to $2,500. You can pick one up now that's an all-wheel drive that runs and operates pretty good. But like any vehicle, there is minor issues and some flaws and some things that can be addressed. And I'm going to go through those things with you today. So the Ford Escape, it comes with a 2.3 liter from 2009, 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, or a 3 liter V6. The transmission choices include a 4-speed, or from 2009 a 6-speed automatic. It's a very rare 5-speed manual transmission. It's only available on 4-cylinders front-wheel drive models. Now, I feel that these years go up from 2008 basically up to 2011. The Ford Escape was actually developed in association with Mazda. It runs on a front-wheel drive platform with optional all-wheel drive. But if you do have an all-wheel drive, you do have a good vehicle. I prefer the 3 liter over the 4-cylinder 2.3. I just find it's a better engine. I've actually owned 3 Ford Escapes, and I've never had an issue with engine or transmission. Now, I've had minor issues, but no issues with engine or transmission. And drivetrain in general has been pretty good in the Ford Escape. Now, both the 2.3 and the 2.5 liter inline 6 are Mazda source engines. Both are proven very durable and basically trouble free. But again, like I said, I prefer the 3 liter. It's a pretty good engine. There was some issues with the VCT solenoids. I think it was back in 2008, 2009 V6 models. But other than that, it's a good engine. They're all timing chain, so there's no timing belt. So you got no issues with having, belt issues. So anything that's chain is a lot better than the belt. Um, in regards to the handling of the Ford Escape, uh, the Escape drives very comfortable. I've used these vehicles for 5, 6 years, and I have to say they drive really well. One thing I will mention is the steering. The steering is very exact and very easy on these vehicles. A lot of people like the tight stiffness of certain vehicles with the steering, but for me, I really enjoy the steering on the Ford Escape. If you're driving a long period of time, and one thing I'll tell you right now is the steering in these, it doesn't matter if it's the 4-cylinder or the 6, the steering is very easy and comfortable. One thing I will mention is that you do get a little bit of road noise from these vehicles, and I experienced this in the 4-cylinder and the 6-cylinder, and you do get a certain amount of road noise, not a lot. It's not enough to deter you from ever purchasing one of these. Again, they're cheap all-wheel drive vehicles, and I can take that over a little bit of road noise, and it's not bad. It's pretty good. In snowy, wintry conditions, you can't ask for better. They're very durable on the road. They seem to, in my opinion, they seem to stick to the road in icy, slippery, snowy conditions. Same thing for off-road. Now, I don't do very much off-road, but I can tell you I've been into a few parks and areas where the Ford Escape really excelled and did a great job on handling in dirt roads, muddy roads. And, I'm a fan of the Ford Escape or even the Mazda Tribute, actually, which is basically the same thing, right? Now, talking about fuel consumption. Um, I'm not really going to get into a lot of specifics on this because it can be different for anybody in the area they live, temperature, weather. But I can tell you that the 4-cylinder engine can average up to, I'm going to say, between 400 450 miles on a tank of gas, which which is, trying to do the math here now for Canadian and Americans. So that's about 600 and I'll say 700 kilometers to a tank. So between 400, 450 to 650 to 700 kilometers, you will get it on a tank of gas. That's in my area where I live. I'm from Canada, and we have some different weather changes. So that's basically on the 4-cylinder engine. The 6-cylinder engine, I will say, it's, believe this or not, it's not much different. Believe that or not. Now there is a little bit more. You'll get probably about 375 miles per tank of gas, probably about 600, 620 to a tank in kilometers. This is just my estimate. This is just my own estimate, my own calculations on what you're going to actually get. So it's not bad on fuel. Believe me, I have a lot of vehicles around here that doesn't do as good as that. And I will say this, okay? From the Ford Escape, from the 08 up to 2011, which is basically the Mazda Tribute as well. I am a Ford Escape Mazda Tribute fan, and the fuel consumption in the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder Mazda Tribute or Ford Escape is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's bad fuel consumption. I know it's not the best, but it's really not bad. You got to consider you're going to an all-wheel drive, okay, 4-cylinder with the front-wheel drive, and then to the 3-liter with the all-wheel drive. It's not bad fuel consumption. Now, so let's talk about some of the issues that me personally have found with the Ford Escape and the Mazda Tribute. Doesn't matter if it's the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder. I feel one of the biggest issues with these vehicles would be the stabilizer link bars. So the stabilizer links. On average, from my own personal experience, this is something that should have been looked at or made to be better. On average, we have to change ours. Doesn't matter if it's the 4-cylinder or the 6-cylinder. On average, every 3 or 4 months, we have to change these stabilizer links. So what that is this: you're driving on the highway or in town, and every time you hit a bump or a little divot in the road, you start to hear a rattling noise from the front end. I assure you, it's not your struts. I'm telling you, every time this happens, it's the stabilizer links. Now, this is a very cheap, inexpensive part. It can range between $18 to $30 for the set. So there's two. So you have two in the back and you have two in the front. But I find that the front is the ones that wear it quicker. The back, I'll say once a year maybe to change the stabilizer links in the back. But in the front, every 3 or 4 months. I'm telling you, if you own a Ford Escape or a Mazda Tribute, you're going to be changing these links every 3 or 4 months. Again, it's a very cheap and easy part, and very simple and easy to do yourself. Basically, you have the 2 bolts, and you just loosen the 2 bolts from the top of the strut down to the hub mount, and take it out, put the other one back in, tighten the 2 bolts, and it's a done job. It's not even, if you're a little bit mechanically inclined like myself, then you wouldn't even necessarily have to take it to a garage. And if you did, it's less than an hour's labor anyways. So that's my first issue that I've ever came across with the Ford Escape. That was my first issue. And my second issue, which is a bit of a big one, is unfortunately these vehicles from 08 to 2011, Mazda Tribute or Ford Escape, wheel bearings. Now this is possibly a deterrent in a sense. They're very hard on wheel bearings, and this is just my opinion again, like always on anything. These are press-in bearings, so you're not buying the whole hub assembly. You can buy the press-on, so the bearing you can get between, I'll say, $12 and $25 each bearing, but If you're trying to do this at home, I'm telling you, you're better to just go to a garage, because you'll end up hurting the hub. You'll probably mess up the bearing, and you're better to take it to a garage to get them to do it professionally, because trying to do it at home, it's 9 chances out of 10 you're going to hurt the hub or the bearing. So I would recommend getting these replaced in a garage. Now, I would say, my opinion, and we use these vehicles a lot, okay? Every day they're in use. I will say from 6 to 8 months, you're changing 4 sets of wheel bearings, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And that's a common problem. From the 4-cylinder to the 6-cylinder, Mazda Tribute, Ford Escape, this is one of, I'll say, the most worst problems these vehicles has, is the longevity of your wheel bearings. It's a major issue, and it's expensive. I'm telling you, you're looking at, if you got to change 4 wheel bearings, you're looking at $300-400. You know, it could cost you up to $500-600 in a garage, because it's time and labor on this specific issue. And sometimes if you damage the bearing, then you're going to end up having to replace the whole front assembly, as you can see in the picture, and this is costing you a lot of money. But sometimes this happens, and unfortunately then you have to buy the whole system in the front end, and you're looking at, you know, up towards $1,000, I'm going to say, for the front only. That's parts and labor in a garage. Let's hope it never comes to that. Me personally, I've never had to change the whole hub assembly. I've never had to do that. As many times as I've changed wheel bearings, had them done in a garage. I've tried to do it at home, it didn't work. I always take it to a garage. And I have never had to do this, but sometimes, in some instances, it just doesn't go right, and you end up having to purchase the whole hub assembly. Let's hope that doesn't happen to you, because it never happened to me. So that's one of the big downfalls of the Ford Escape Mazda Tribute. It's one of the big ones, is the wheel bearings. They do go through wheel bearings pretty fast. Another issue that I came across, and this actually happened, so we have 3 of these vehicles. This actually happened in 2 of them, in the 6-cylinder Ford Escapes, is the blower motor heater switch. What happens is, you turn it on 1, 2, 3, and you get nothing. You put it on 4, and it only works on 4, which is the maximum setting. From what I've learned about this, the maximum setting is the straight go for the blower motor. So when you're using 1, 2, and 3, that's actually that switch that controls that. And when they burn out inside, you will only get number 4. So your heater only works on the highest speed, which, you know, if you're on a hot day or a mid-warm day and you got your AC on and you can only use it on 4, you're just blowing air crazy. Or if you feel that you need a little bit of heat, it's getting a little bit cooler, then again you're on your maximum setting. So again, that's not good. Now, this part, from my experience of me purchasing them here in Canada, this is basically a $35 part, and very easy to repair. You don't have to take this to a garage if you're a little bit mechanically inclined, again. So this part is located inside your glove box. So you open your glove box, pull on the tab, pull it then all together, and it's up and under, I think it's a 5/16 bolt. You just unscrew it, then you pull it out, let go of the connector, put your new one back in, bolt it back in, connect the connector, and you're good to go. Now, with this being said, so this happened to me with 2 vehicles. The longevity of the lasting of these switches, I'm going to give it a 2-year. I'm going to say 2 years. That's just from my experience. Again, so it's not a big major issue. It's not an expensive issue, but you know, I'm creating this video to show you the pros and cons of the Ford Escape or Mazda Tribute. Another issue that I have came across, and this actually happened to all 3 of our Ford Escapes. Okay, so 2 are Ford Escapes, 1 is a Mazda Tribute, and they're all the 6 cylinders what we have. But we did have 1 4-cylinder, which we got rid of a couple years back. Okay, so here we go. This was a common problem. what you're seeing in the picture is the latch for the tailgate window. This happened to us on every one we owned. They all corroded. Every one. So out of the 3 vehicles, 6 of these corroded. There's one on each side. And I'm telling you guys, you've seen this too. If you've seen a Mazda Tribute or a Ford Escape and you're driving beyond it, you've seen that white residue traveling down the back window of those vehicles. Every one of these corrodes. That is an issue with these vehicles. Now, my experience here in Canada, I found that this was a hard part to get, so I ended up buying them all used all the time from scrapyards or places like that. But I actually had trouble trying to order these, and but anyway, it's a common problem. I'll tell you, everyone I've ever drove behind, these are corroded out. You see that white residue traveling down both sides of the window, and you know instantly right away, if you know anything about the Ford Escape, they all corrode those hinges, every one of them. So that's another little issue. Okay, so bear with me guys, I'm going to try my best on this one. What you're looking at right here now is the DPF sensor. I think that's the actual name of it. Yeah, the DPFE sensor, sorry. So DPFE sensor. This is another common problem in the Ford Escape. So if you're driving and you're starting to feel that you're getting a little bit of stutter from the engine, a little bit of lagginess in its operation, just overall bad performance from the engine, and you're noticing that your fuel economy is not so great, starting to diminish, this is one of the common problems right here. And I had to learn this the hard way. Trust me, I'm telling you, I spent a fortune before I actually found out that this was the problem. There is codes that will come up on the check engine light. So the code for, I think there's 2 or 3 separate codes for this one. I think the first code is P0442. Second code would be P0456 and P1450. Now, these 3 specific codes could come up for a few different things, but this, I'm telling you, DPFE sensor is the cause of it. It's all about air pollution, I'm thinking so, and it's part of the EGR valve system. So you know yourself, anything to do with the EGR valve system is all about air pollution and just, you know, leads to poor engine performance. So when the DPF sensor fails, it leads to poor engine performance and reduced fuel economy. The check engine light will come on if this sensor is giving you an issue, and you will fail an emissions test if the DPFE sensor is not functioning proper. But it's a simple fix, and it's not an expensive part. I think the part is like $35, between 30 and $35 here in Canada, and it's just right on front of the engine, I think on the driver's side. So if you're standing in front of your engine, you're looking down, it's just on the right hand side of the engine. You can't miss it. You'll see it's right there, just down from the EGR. This one is another common problem for the Ford Escape Mazda Tribute as well, in the 6-cylinder. I think it's in the 6-cylinder more of an issue than the 4-cylinder. But the problem with this one is if this one fails, a mechanic can go through a bunch of other sensors and it's costing you money and you're not really finding it. But I'm telling you right now, if you're noticing poor fuel performance and your engine's a little bit sluggish, a little bit of lack of power, smells, it's this DPFE sensor, which again, it's a cheap part and an easy fix, so not much of a problem. And this only happened to one of ours out of the 3 we have, so I guess it's not really a common problem, but it is a problem. Another little issue I want to talk about, sorry, I don't have an actual picture here right now for this issue, but one thing that do tend to happen to the Mazda Tribute and the Ford Escape is paint coming off up around the wheel walls and the hood and the roof. This is another common problem. The worst problem is around the wheel walls. Paint just chips off. Again, you guys have probably seen it so many times. You see a Mazda Tribute or a Ford Escape driving down the street, and the wheel walls are all rusted out. I won't say rusted out, but surface rust, because the paint doesn't stick to the wheel walls. This is another common issue. So with everything that we talked about, if I was to rank the Ford Escape Mazda Tribute from the 4-cylinder to the 6-cylinder engine, if I was to give it a ranking out of 1 out of 10, I would give it a 7. And I have experience with these vehicles. I'm still going to give it a 7 ranking. You guys will see in videos I'm going to bring out, there's vehicles that has a lot more issues, more expensive issues, from timing belts to transmissions to engine problems. The Ford Escape, in my opinion, ranks at a 7. It's a good all-around vehicle. It's cheap to maintain. The brakes last a long time on it. You don't go through brakes like you do other vehicles. I'm not going to name other vehicles right now, therefore other videos I'm going to bring out. But if you're purchasing a Ford Escape from 2008 up to 2011, and if you're getting that vehicle within between, I'll say, $3,500 down to $1,000, and if it's in good mechanical working condition, you have a good vehicle, and it's a trustworthy vehicle, and it can last you, 5-6 years, depending on how you drive it, how you operate it, and how you maintain it. Regular oil changes, do your, all, air filter changes. If you do the general maintenance on these vehicles, they will last you a long time. And as I said earlier, I'm a fan of the Ford Escape Mazda Tribute. I prefer the 6-cylinder. Maybe you guys would prefer the 4-cylinder. It's still a good engine. Listen, the 4-cylinder engine is a pretty peppy little engine, as in the front-wheel drive version of it. But for me, I like the 3-liter all-wheel drive Ford Escape Mazda Tribute. I don't find any difference between the Mazda Tribute and the Ford Escape. They are exactly the same thing operation-wise, and most all of the parts, pricing and things like that. So if you are getting a Mazda Tribute or a Ford Escape, you do have yourself a nice little vehicle, and I'm giving it a ranking of 7. So it's all around good family vehicle, personal vehicle, whatever you're using it for. And I'm going to end this little video right here now, and thanks for watching. Please give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.